How's the daughter, buddy?
Huh?
How's the new arrival?
Good.
Yeah?
Happy.
You changing some nappies?
Of course. That's what fathers do. Just send me John some money for
Grab a seat, Bryce.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
Could you open this up?
Just right there, champ.
Champ.
Yeah, man.
We'll get you to sign those gloves as well afterwards for the colon. What is it? What did I say it was? Men's. What did men get? Prostate cancer.
All right. Should we?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, sorry, Joe. When you're ready.
How's John anyway?
He just got back from Christchurch. He's in a plane.
Is he scheduled to have his op soon, or what are they going to do?
He went and saw a specialist, and so I think they're finding a way to.
Just releasing the fluid up there. Well, lucky they caught it now.
I know. Otherwise.
Yeah, those things will just grow and then they'll just burst and then they'll just die. Same with my dad. He had a bad back years ago. Went for an X-ray for a bad back. And they found the aneurysm over his heart at the same time. If he hadn't had that bad back, it just would have grown and exploded and dropped dead. So.
Yeah, it's terrible there.
Do your intro, mate.
Oh, sorry. All right, GladrapChannel with the former WBA heavyweight champion Joseph Packer. Sorry, WBO. Can I start again, man?
Yeah.
There's another title you picked up.
No, thank you.
No. GladrapChannel with the former WBO heavyweight champion Joseph Packer. Just want to firstly congratulate you on the birth of your baby daughter.
Thank you.
What's her name?
Her name is Shiloh.
Shiloh. That's a cool name, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it like being a dad, man? Like,
this is my second daughter.
Yeah.
When I got home, off the flight, I went home and I was excited to see them, and my daughter was waiting outside for me, jumping up with joy and smiling, Elizabeth. And so I was able to meet Charlotte, even though she doesn't know who I was, but I was able to hold her and hug her and give her a kiss.
I guess it puts everything in perspective as well. You lose a fight, but you come home.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of people saying, "Oh, you sad about the fight." Yeah, of course, it's not good to lose, but once the fight was done, I was already moving on to seeing my daughters. So didn't really dwell on the loss, and looking forward to the future.
No, and secondly, I just want to congratulate you on a thrilling fight. You showed true grit and courage in that fight, and it was the most exciting fight I've seen of yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, in my opinion, Dillian was quite a crafty, with veteran moves. How do you assess Dillian?
He was a lot more aggressive than I was, and mongrel, and he actually he showed some good boxing ability, and so I respect him as a fighter. I felt like the few things in the fight that happened that sort of changed the course of the fight. The headbutt, not making excuses, but it sort of changed a little bit of how the fight went. And so, I feel like I'd love to fight him again in the future, but credit to him for, he did everything he could to win. He did a great job, and, he's looking at bigger and better fights. And so I would love to have a rematch, but I know that, realistically, as 2 losses, you have to come back down and sort of climb up again. So hopefully we can get back to the top soon.
Joseph, what happened in the second round after the headbutt? Do you think, were you did you lose your equilibrium? Did it rattle you? Can you describe what happened?
I don't know. No,
did you know it was a headbutt at the time, or did you think you got clipped?
I thought I got clipped.
Okay.
And so I threw a punch, and then all of a sudden a headbutt, and then I was on the ground, blacked out for a bit, and then sort of got up and shook it off, and when he came back to the corner, they told me it was a headbutt. I thought I got really clipped real good.
Being that you've never been on the canvas before and sparring as well, apparently according to Kevin, was it a surprising moment when you suddenly looked around for a second and thought, I'm on the deck?
Yeah, it was very surprising. It's like because you're throwing a punch and you're doing your own attack, and then all of a sudden...
Because you must have also wondered, where did that punch come from?
I thought, because I knew I was protecting myself. And so I threw a punch, and all of a sudden I'm on the ground like this, and I'm thinking, oh man, what the hell happened here?
And he was towering over you, right?
No, he was trying to... But then you see him come to the corner when I'm getting an 8 count, and you see him touch his head like this like a few times.
I don't think there was even a punch involved. I think
it wasn't a punch, it was a headbutt. When slow motion showed it, but then also he's touching his head going, But, it's the ref probably didn't see it. I don't know how the ref operated, and things happened, so you can't help it.
I think the ref did a poor job in the fight, in the second round, following a headbutt, you deemed that a knockdown. And then secondly, in the last round of the fight, when you knocked him down, he grabbed and stopped the flow of the fight, right, by holding on to you. Shouldn't he have been deducted some points? Did you think you were sort of hard done by the referee?
You know, the ref did some good things. Also, the ref didn't do things that he should have done. But you know, we can't help it. You know, that's the ref that everyone chose for the fight, and he reffed how he reffed the fight, and so we can't really change it. So
well, why didn't you protest? Like, why didn't you sort of protest with the ref? You know, sort of.
Kevin, if you see the fight, Kevin's trying to talk to the ref, trying to yell to the ref, say this and they say that, but obviously the ref has his own focus on what he's focused on. So as much as Kevin's trying to talk to him and trying to get his attention to try and work on a few things that he wasn't doing, obviously the ref is more focused on the fighters and focused on what he wants to do instead of what someone else wants to do.
Did you feel personally that you had to tell the ref, like, hey, what's he doing? Like, he's holding. Like, did you not want to tell him? Like, or were you sort of just in fight mode, at the time?
What they say before the fight is protect yourself at all times. So I was focused on protecting myself.
I thought you had a great 12th round, but I thought you had a beautiful opening round as well. It's the best opening round I've seen from you, probably at a high level ever.
The first 2 rounds before the headbutt, because I watched the fight again, and then after I just changed the whole.
It seemed like the plan was you were a little bit more in front of him than previous fights, but you were using the superior hand speed, combinations to the body, and then get out.
Yeah.
Was that was pretty much going to be the game plan?
The plan was to fight for combinations, head and body, and then make little movements, and then throw again, make little movements, throw again. And so what you're saying is exactly what we were trying to achieve. Throwing punches and little movements to the side, but not running away too much. Just little movements so he couldn't catch us, which was working in the beginning.
How much did the inside grappling and the mauling, was that uncomfortable for you? That was very much his kind of fight.
Yeah, it was a little different, but again, the sparring partners I had didn't really practice that kind of to those techniques, so I wasn't really prepared. As much as you want to prepare for it, you have to practice what you want to.
Is that where the shorter camp might have hurt you? Is that you didn't have time to maybe?
I think the shorter camp. There's no excuses. He took I don't know how long he had to prepare for the fight, but we both took a short camp and we jammed everything we could. But I think the main important thing is what I do in my off season. If I had a short camp and I was in better shape, it could have been different. But obviously, I enjoy my food and enjoy my downtime and didn't train as hard. So there's a lot of learning now. So this morning I went for a run. I got Butterbean sent me a website to look for clean food by Counter Scott.
So maybe in your off season, is it even a case of in your off time, maybe a cheat day in a week as opposed to maybe?
Off time is important now to actually keep in shape from Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday you can enjoy. But whatever you do in your off season, that's going to affect what you do in your on season or when you're in training camp.
I'm sort of confused how people can question your mental fortitude. I mean, you went 12 rounds with Anthony Joshua, and then after 2 knockdowns with Dillian Whyte, you got up and you almost finished him. His energy was completely depleted. Why are people questioning your hunger?
Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's going to question whatever you do in life. And people don't only question me. There's other athletes they question as well. And so, as long as you know what you're focused on, as long as you know what you're trying to achieve, and as long as you know you have your supporters and your family, then you don't have to worry about the questions that come your way. But there are questions, there are negative things that have been said, but you just got to try your best to avoid it and not be sucked into it.
You're quite open that you love Kevin Barry and Taylor and Tan and the family you have in Vegas. You kind of love David Higgins. How hard is it then to you as the fighter take your criticism for what you do in the ring? How hard is it then when people you care about take so much criticism as well?
It's a bit hard because the great job that they do, and Kevin does more than a boxing trainer. He does so much more than, but no one sees everything else he does. David does so much more as well. So for me, it's a little hard to hear it. But like I said, everyone can think what they want to think. As long as the fighter's happy with his team and how everything's going, then. But like you said, the first round and the second round was going well. Was going according to how we trained us, how we were fighting the first 2 rounds, and then just a little bit of a few things that happened in the fight caused it to go a different way. Can
you talk a bit about the 9th round? It's the first time we saw you get knocked down in your amateur or professional career. What was that like? And what was that like getting knocked down for the first time?
It wasn't as sore as the headbutt.
Okay.
No, seriously, I knocked down and I just sort of, like I said, I knocked down, I was like, damn it, man.
You sprung back up, but
No, I sprung up,
that was a clean.
I know, but I spoke to myself like, damn, like, how did he catch me? Why did you let him catch you?
Do you think you were trying to push the fight a little bit at that point?
I was trying to push the fight more.
You know, you knew that you had the knockdown illegal or not. You were probably a little bit behind, and you were trying to push it. And
I think the headbutt sort of caused me to go into a defensive more than the attack that I was doing. And then when I sort of found out that I was a bit weight, and then I tried to push the fight more, and then that's obviously how. Yeah.
Was that the hardest punch you've been hit with as a professional or amateur that you can think of?
No, probably not.
Oh.
No.
How'd you re-energize yourself, and where'd you get the motivation to? Because after that knockdown, you almost had him. Like you let your hands go.
I knocked down and I got up and just said, stuff this guy. No, serious. I just got up and go, you caught me good, man. I'm gonna come. And then as soon as the ref counted, I just went charged in.
Yeah. I mean, there was no point. There was no opportunity for him in that round to come in and finish you because you got up, your legs weren't shaky at all, your eyes were clear. And I think when you engaged, I think you were the one that threw the first punch. That's what I remember. That's what I remember clearly. It's getting up and just going forward after getting knocked. Is that something that Kevin emphasises? I know he's spoken about it to me before, that he always encourages his fighters that if they get hurt or put down, throw back straight away. Don't allow the momentum.
Because obviously you've seen many examples of fighters get knocked down, and then the other fighter comes and attacks as hard as they can because they're hurt. Right?
Exactly.
I didn't feel like I was badly hurt. I thought just good knockdown.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Because the way you jumped up was like, man, it was cool to see. There was true grit. It was courage in that.
I think our team has a lot of heart.
Yeah. And in the 12th round, you sort of reversed the dirty tactics that he was doing. You sort of roughhoused him and expended his energy. Like you sort of bending him down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that almost completely depleted him. Like that was good tactics from you.
It was corner telling me this is so. The fight didn't.
Did you have that sense from rounds 10, 11 and 12 that he was really badly fatigued?
No, I could sense that he was breathing heavily, and I think some of the body shots from the beginning helped.
Had his body shots to you depleted you a little bit? Because he did land some really nice body shots.
He threw some big ones, but it wasn't as he got good power, but it wasn't. It's not like the
earth shattering.
Just a couple more. Yeah. How come AJ wasn't able to do that to you? How come Dillian Whyte was able to do that to you? I mean, was it just you fought a different fight, a different style?
Different fight. And both AJ and myself were cautious. I was defensive and trying to avoid and trying to hurt him and not getting punched more. Whereas this one, I just took more risks. And
he really did in the gloves off or face off. He really we felt got under his skin a little bit. He said some pretty rough stuff, but there did seem to be genuine mutual respect after the fight. Was that the case? Did you have a chance to have a quick word with him after the fight?
I had a quick word with him in the ring, obviously after the fight. Just mutual respect, and then he's been giving some nice comments about our team. And how we don't avoid, and he thinks that we belong at the top. And we've been texting, he's saying he can't wait to see me back, and I said, tell him to keep going.
And maybe it is a rematch in the future.
I'd love to have a rematch. I don't care who I fight.
But if you knocked him out in the last round, that would be one of the greatest heavyweight fights ever. Especially in New Zealand boxing, that would have been just amazing. I thought you almost had it.
I think we all thought we almost had it. But, like I said, credit to him. He knew what he was like. With the Joshua fight, he said he got knocked down, and then he got up and continued fighting. Whereas this one, he got knocked down, he still stayed down and regrouped himself. So he keeps learning and getting better. And so he was able to regroup, and he was able to hug me and hold me until the end of the fight. So
just last question: why didn't you walk out to Roy Jones Jr.?
Why didn't I?
Yeah.
I walked out to Ambition as a rider.
By Tupac, right?
Because I wasn't there to stuff around. I was there for business.
Joseph, thank you so much for your time, man. Appreciate it. It was a great fight.
Thank you.
It's a great honor. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this for me.